Can you see the difference between tone mapping or HGIG? In this video I will show you to get a more vibrant and dynamic picture for gaming. Hi, today I will show you the difference between HGIG tone mapping and dynamic tone mapping. But first of all, before we get into the practice, we need to know what tone mapping does. Okay, every display has got a peak brightness. For example, we take an LG OLED with a peak brightness of 820 nits. But you got a movie with 1000 nits. So here's a problem. When the movie has a peak brightness of 1000 nits, your LG OLED can't display it. For this reason, we've got the LG OLEDs and every other HDR monitor has got a tone mapping curve, a PQ curve. So for example, you watch a movie and the movie reaches 574 nits. Then your display will show you 574 nits. But when the movie is reaching 1000 nits, the display only can show 800 nits. So there's a difference between 1000 and 574. You've got a difference of 426 nits. But your television only has got 246 nits in spare. So we need to compress this 426 nits to 246 nits. And here is a curve which compresses the brightness. So until 70%, your display is going linear with the brightness of the movie until this point. And after this point, your TV has to compress the picture. Maybe the movie has got a picture with 910 nits. So what can you display show to you? It's round about in this area, and this is 770 nits, for example. So the movie shows 910 and your display only shows 770 nits. And this goes on for master peak 4000 and 10,000. For example, you've got a movie with 10,000, the tone mapping is at 50%. Your display will go linear until 410 nits in this area. And above this area, it has to compress 9500 nits into this curve. Okay, you need this for movies because the movie is mastered at a fixed peak brightness and you can't do anything about it. So what does dynamic tone mapping? Dynamic tone mapping works in another way. Dynamic tone mapping knows your peak brightness, but dynamic tone mapping is looking at each frame, and for each frame it will spread the dynamic of your television. So you got non-linear, it's not linear with a picture of the whole movie. Maybe a dark could be too, a cave could be too dark, a cave could be too bright, a beach could be too dark. It looks brighter, but it's not correct. Okay, so I would not recommend dynamic tone mapping. It looks okay for each scene, but overall the picture is not linear. So for gaming, it's a different thing. we've got HGIG. I researched a lot, but I can't find how HGIG is working. I believe it's working like this tone curve, but in a different way. Maybe the curve is more flat. I don't know. I can't find information about it. But it's working okay. But now here's a trick to get the picture more vibrant and more with more spectacular highlights, and overall it looks more dynamic to you. In this case, we set tone mapping to off. So we don't have this curve, or this curve. The television follows the brightness of the game until it's hard clips. So when the game is brighter than 820 nits, it's hard clipping. Okay, so when your game maybe is displaying 1000 nits and your display only can output 820 nits, you've got a hard clip. So there's only one white area, and you can't see any structure. But when you set your game to 820 nits, then the white area is gone and you can see the details. So in this case, we can calibrate Windows, or we can calibrate the game with a maximum output it has. Maybe you can set the game to 820 nits, and then everything is fine and it's working. HGIG is working in a tone mapping mode. It does it for you, but you lose some brightness. So how can we set the television to turn off this tone mappings? So you need maybe Kalman or device control. Device control is for free. You can connect to a television, and in this case we have 820 nits max luminance, and we set roll off point to 100%, set this to 100%, and this one, and now you send this data to a television and tone mapping is off. And you will see that your picture is much clearer, brighter, and more with HDR dynamic. Okay, that's it. Have a nice day.